Avenue des Champs-Élysées. The Avenue des Champs-Élysées needs no introduction. A fixture on the list of the French capital's top attractions, it is visited each day by nearly 300,000 people, who come to admire its majestic monuments, enjoy a shopping spree, or get caught up in the excitement of the major festive events that are organized here. There's always something going on here, along the world's most beautiful avenue, by day or by night. An avenue in the 8th arrondissement of Paris, France, 1.9 kilometers or 1.2 mile long and 70 meters or 230 feet wide, running between the Place de la Concorde and the Place Charles de Gaulle, where the Arc de Triomphe is located. It is known for its theatres, cafes, and luxury shops, for the annual Bastille Day military parade, and is the finish of the Tour de France cycling race. The lower part of the Champs-Élysées, from the Place de la Concorde to the Rond Point, runs through the Jardin des Champs-Élysées, a park which contains the Grand Palais, the Petit Palais, the Theatre Marigny, and several restaurants, gardens and monuments. The Élysée Palace, official residence of the President of the French Republic, borders the park, but is not on the avenue itself. The Champs-Élysées ends at the Arc de Triomphe, built to honor the victories of Napoleon Bonaparte. But though it has since become the world's most beautiful avenue, the Champs-Élysées was once a swamp. It was in the 17th century that André Le Notre, gardener to the Sun King, traced its original path. And thus a legend was born. The avenue has only become more beautiful with every passing decade. The Arc de Triomphe is one of the most famous monuments in Paris, France, standing at the western end of the Champs-Élysées at the center of Place Charles de Gaulle. The Arc de Triomphe was begun in 1806, on the orders of Napoleon I to honor the victories of his Grande Army. Inspired by the great arches of antiquity, this iconic monument bears the names of battles and generals from the Revolution and the First Empire. Every evening, the flame is lit on the tomb of the unknown soldier from the Great War. Paris's Arc de Triomphe was the tallest triumphal arch until the completion of the Monumento a la Revolution in Mexico City in 1938. The Arc de Triomphe is located on the right bank of the Seine at the center of a dodecagonal configuration of 12 radiating avenues. It was commissioned in 1806, after the victory at Austerlitz by Emperor Napoleon at the peak of his fortunes. Laying the foundations alone took 2 years, and, in 1810, when Napoleon entered Paris from the west with his new bride, Archduchess Marie-Louise of Austria, he had a wooden mock-up of the completed arch constructed. The architect, Jean Chalgrin, died in 1811 and the work was taken over by Jean-Nicolas Hieu.
Eiffel Tower.
For 130 years, the Eiffel Tower has been a powerful and distinctive symbol of the city of Paris and by extension, of France. At first, when it was built for the 1889 World's Fair, it impressed the entire world by its stature and daring design, and symbolized French know-how and industrial genius. Eiffel et Compagnie, a firm owned by French architect and engineer Alexander Gustave Eiffel, designed and constructed the Iron Tower for the Exposition Universelle, or World's Fair, in 1889. The Eiffel Tower is taller than the Statue of Liberty. The Eiffel Tower currently measures 1,063 feet in height. Louvre Museum. The Louvre, or the Louvre Museum, is the world's largest art museum and a historic monument in Paris, France. A central landmark of the city, it is located on the right bank of the Seine in the city's first arrondissement. The Louvre contains more than 380,000 objects and displays 35,000 works of art, in 8 curatorial departments, with more than 60,600 square meters or 652,000 square feet, dedicated to the permanent collection. The Louvre exhibits sculptures, objets d'art, paintings, drawings, and archaeological finds. The Louvre holds many of Western civilization's most famous masterpieces, including the Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci and the Venus de Milo. The world's most expensive painting, the Salvator Mundi, purportedly by Leonardo da Vinci, was supposed to go on display next week in Paris Louvre Museum, in a blockbuster exhibition marking the 500th anniversary of da Vinci's death. Notre Dame Cathedral. Notre Dame de Paris, also called Notre Dame Cathedral, Cathedral Church in Paris. It is the most famous of the Gothic cathedrals of the Middle Ages and is distinguished for its size, antiquity, and architectural interest. Notre Dame Cathedral suffered damage and deterioration through the centuries. After the French Revolution, it was rescued from possible destruction by Napoleon, who crowned himself Emperor of the French, in the cathedral in 1804. Notre Dame underwent major restorations by the French architect Eugène-Emmanuel Viollet-le-Duc in the mid-19th century. The popularity of Victor Hugo's historical novel Notre Dame de Paris 1831, wherein the cathedral is the setting, was said to have inspired the renovations. During a restoration campaign in 2019, a fire broke out in the cathedral's attic, and the massive blaze destroyed most of the roof, Viollet-le-Duc's 19th century spire, and some of the rib vaulting. Disneyland Paris. Formerly Euro Disney Resort, is an entertainment resort in Chessy, France, a new town located 32 kilometers east of the center of Paris. It encompasses 2 theme parks, many resort hotels, Disney Nature Resorts, a shopping, dining, and entertainment complex, and a golf course, in addition to several additional recreational and entertainment venues. The Parisian Disney Park is the second Disney park to open outside the United States following the opening of the Tokyo Disney Resort in 1983 and is the largest Disney resort to open outside of the United States. Disneyland Paris is also the only Disney resort outside of the United States to be completely owned by the Walt Disney Company. Palace of Versailles. The Palace of Versailles has been listed as a World Heritage Site for 30 years and is one of the greatest achievements in French 17th century art. Louis XIII's old hunting pavilion was transformed and extended by his son, Louis XIV, when he installed the court and government there in 1682. A succession of kings continued to embellish the palace up until the French Revolution. The palace is now a historical monument and UNESCO World Heritage Site, notable especially for the ceremonial Hall of Mirrors, the jewel-like Royal Opera, and the royal apartments. For the more intimate royal residences, the Grand Trianon and Petit Trianon located within the park, the small rustic Hameau or hamlet. Seine River. The Seine is a 775-kilometer-long river and an important commercial waterway within the Paris Basin in the north of France. It rises at Source-Seine, 30 kilometers northwest of Dijon in northeastern France in the Langres Plateau, flowing through Paris and into the English Channel at Le Havre. The Seine is France's third longest river, extending 485 miles from Dijon to the English Channel. The river has been the subject of many famous Impressionist paintings, including Manet's Bathers at La Grenouillère and Renoir's Seine River at Echeniers. The Seine still supplies about half of the water used in Paris. Seine River. The Seine is a 775-kilometer-long river and an important commercial waterway within the Paris Basin in the north of France. It rises at Source-Seine, 30 kilometers northwest of Dijon in northeastern France in the Langres Plateau, flowing through Paris and into the English Channel at Le Havre. The Seine is France's third longest river, extending 485 miles from Dijon to the English Channel. The river has been the subject of many famous Impressionist paintings, including Manet's Bathers at La Grenouillère and Renoir's Seine River at Echeniers. The Seine still supplies about half of the water used in Paris. That's all for now, friends. Hope you have a great weekend. If you liked our videos, please subscribe our channel. Hope to make detailed videos next time. But that's possible only with your support. Like and subscribe our channel Fountain Knowledge. Thank you all.